Hello and welcome back to another week in new genre books. Thanks for stopping by, we're always glad to have you here. My name is Amelia, and from Locus magazine, I'm about to tell you the top new science fiction, fantasy, and horror books being published the week of January 3rd, 2023. Please like and subscribe, that is a big part of keeping this booktube going and how we know you like us. We hope you all had a peaceful holiday and the new year is kind and full of reading. Anyway, books, they just keep coming and we're going to talk about it. I've got links for timing below if you want to skip to your favorite category, be it science fiction, fantasy, or horror. We love them all. Starting with science fiction books this week, we have 5 science fiction titles being published. First, from James L. Cambias, we have The Scarab Mission, out from Baen in ebook. This science fiction novel is the second in the Billion Worlds series. A scavenger and her oddball crew are catapulted into the midst of a strange secret at the heart of a derelict colony ship. From Sibylle Berg, we have Grime, out from St. Martin's Griffin in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This near-future dystopian science fiction novel follows teens from a poverty-stricken town in northern England who follow their love of grime music to London. This novel is translated from the Swiss German by Tim Moore. From Will McCarthy, we have Poor Man's Sky, out from Baen in hardcover and ebook. This near-future science fiction novel is the sequel to Rich Man's Sky. In it, a reality show contestant competing to be a Martian colonist is murdered, leading all the contestants into a battle for the future rights of mankind. From Jason Cordova, we have Chicks in Tank Tops, out from Baen in trade paperback and ebook. This is an original anthology of 14 stories, inspired by Esther Friesner's Chicks in Chainmail series. Authors include Jody Lynn Nye, Sharon Lee, and Steve Miller, and David Drake. From Sarah Daniels, we have The Stranded, out from Sourcebooks Fire in hardcover, trade paperback, and ebook. This near-future dystopian novel is about a former luxury cruise ship forbidden to make landfall for 40 years off the coast of the former USA. I really like the basic premise because, for one thing, there's probably not a lot of tax liability for a boat that can't make landfall. Probably there should be some pirates, and also, I hope you don't get seasick. Next up, horror, we have 2 titles in horror this week. From Sean Adams, we have The Thing in the Snow, out from Morrow in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This satirical, psychological horror novel is about an isolated, largely abandoned research station where a mysterious object found in the snow has a strange effect on people's minds. From David Niall Wilson, we have The Devils in the Flaws and Other Dark Truths, out from Macabre in hardcover, trade paperback, and ebook. This is a collection of 21 horror stories, 9 of which are new, including an unpublished novella. Next up, fantasy, we have 6 titles this week. First, from the oh-so-talented and best-selling author Holly Black, we have The Stolen Heir, out from Little Brown in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult fantasy novel, first in the eponymous series and part of the Elfheim world. In it, the Lady Nor uses an ancient relic to create monsters for revenge. Only her daughter Surin can stop her, but Surin has fled to the human world. And the description has maybe not yet made the case that creating monsters for revenge is a bad thing. I suppose we need to know why she wants revenge in the first place. What happened, Lady Nor? From Paige Crutcher, we have The Lost Witch, out from St. Martin's Griffin in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. In this fantasy novel, an Irish witch named Bridget gets swept away from 1922 and ends up in 2022, where her house is occupied by 2 unruly witches and her island is under attack from the damned. From Davis Bunn, we have Forbidden, out from Severn House in hardcover and ebook. In this fantasy novel, Chad Hagen, a failed apprentice talent kicked out of 2 institutes, teams up with Kara Sedgwick to expose the institute's corruption. From Anne Dávila, we have Breakup from Hell, out from Harper Teen in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This novel is a young adult paranormal lovers to enemies romance. In it, Miguela Angeles begins to suspect that her new boyfriend has supernatural ties of the very bad kind. Probably this does not mean the half Windsor knot kinds of ties. Yes, I had to tie one on. It comes supernatural to me, these kinds of puns, the very bad kind. Anyway, from Ivelisse Housman, we have Unseelie, out from Inkyard Press in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult fantasy novel, first in the Unseelie duology. In it, an autistic changeling joins a heist in the land of the fairies. From Jayne and Krentz, we have Sleep No More, out from Berkeley in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a romantic suspense novel with speculative elements, the first in the Lost Night Files series. In it, two women meet at the Lucent Springs Hotel before an earthquake and a fire nearly destroy the building. Afterwards, neither of them can remember that night, so they team up and start a podcast to investigate. Lastly, from Kaylie Smith, we have A Ruinous Fate, out from Hyperion in hardcover and ebook. This young adult fantasy novel is the first in the Heartless Fates series. Calliope Rosewood is a witch with unspeakable powers and has been hiding for a year. That wraps up this week. Thanks for spending some time with us. At Locus, we want to tell you everything relevant that's happening in the science fiction, fantasy, horror publishing space. Side effects of reading Locus may include having a to-be-read pile of books that eclipses the sun, using vocabulary your friends don't know, learning way too much about how the sausage is made, and accidentally starting a career in the science fiction, fantasy, horror book publishing space. Ask your librarian if Locus is right for you. Locus is available over the counter, through the mail, and through the ether. Go check us out at www.locusmag.com. You can subscribe to the print magazine. Locus is available in a digital edition, and one day we will download it straight to your prefrontal cortex. We appreciate your eyes and ears and your likes and subscribes. Please do subscribe and turn on notifications so you know about this video when it goes up every week. This magazine and the YouTube channel are a labor of love. We are at Locus Mag or at Locus Magazine on most platforms. You can read more about the science fiction, fantasy, and horror field over at www.locusmag.com or support us on our Patreon. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Come back and see us again soon, and we'll be here next week with more new books.